like to welcome everybody here this evening. Planning and zoning, it's the first time we've been over here in this fancy place. Usually we meet over at the library, so, where the city council meets, but anyway, welcome, and hopefully we can do you some good this evening. Okay, roll call, do we have that?
You're good.
Okay.
Everybody's here but Tracy and Ori.
Gentlemen, okay.
Yeah.
Public comment on non-agenda. Have anybody here
No, we're good.
that, okay. Minutes, review and approve minutes of the December 19, 2022 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. You should have that in your packet. So, would you entertain a motion?
And I do have a question about those. As far as substance, would you like them to be a little more brief, or do you like the detailed minutes as a commission?
Brief.
More brief?
Yeah. Took me forever to read it.
Yeah, 23 pages of minutes was
Yeah.
a little painstaking.
Yeah, okay.
For you guys too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they often get.
And I think just, in fairness to, I think you're trying to give us everything that happened there, but every time a pin drops, we saw it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay. So we didn't, I just wanted.
Especially if we're just discussing things, you know, I think when you make a motion, make a change, then that's important.
Okay. Joe would be very happy about that.
Okay,
I motion we approve.
we have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Okay, staff presentation. The Planning and Community Development Department is in receipt of a rezone application request Z62-22 from Kit Kempton for Grand County parcel numbers 10309-005J, 10309-005K, and 10309-005H. The rezone is from AR Agriculture Residential District to C2 Highway Commercial District.
Yes.
Okay.
And I will very slowly review my presentation as it is written, so that if Ms. O'Donnell does arrive, she won't miss anything that's not already in the record that she received earlier. Would you please note that in the minutes, Joan? So, staff requests that the Planning and Zoning Commission hold a public hearing on a rezone application and provide a recommendation to the City Council along with a statement of the Planning and Zoning Commission's reasons for the recommendation. Background: the Planning and Community Development Department is in receipt of a rezone application from Kip Kempton for Grand County parcels 103-09-005J, 103-09-005H, and 103-09-005K. The rezone request is from the AR Agricultural Residential District to the C2 Highway Commercial District. The property is currently vacant. The purpose of the zoning district is to provide for commercial uses and services generally maintained in central business district fringe areas where the density of traffic and building area is not conducive to desirable residential living. This district encourages commercial establishments intended for highway locations. The next item in your staff report is a list of permitted uses that are in the code, and that's quite an exhaustive list. I won't read that to you.
Yeah. What isn't there?
Yes, yes, and that's always covered by other like businesses. So, per zoning ordinance section 17.20.020, the applicant is required to hold a neighborhood meeting on the rezoning prior to going before the Planning and Zoning Commission. A meeting notice was mailed to all property owners within 300 feet of the property. The meeting was held on November 29th, 2022 at 5:30 p.m. at the annex. Applicant notes from this meeting are attached. No correspondence was received by staff, and that is current as of today. I have had no comment from anyone in the area. intent and purpose of this title. So any zone changes have to promote health, safety, morals, convenience, order, prosperity, and general welfare of the present and future inhabitants of the city by guiding development within the city in accordance and with the general plan, which has been designed to encourage and facilitate orderly growth, to create conditions favorable to prosperity is the rest of the list. All amendments to this title shall be made in accordance with the general plan. It is public policy that this title shall not be amended unless it be shown that the changed or changing conditions make the proposed amendment reasonably necessary. Goal 1 of the general plan promotes a compatible mix of land uses throughout the Safford planning area. This area is comprised of a mix of land uses with access from a state highway. Mr. Kimpton is requesting to change the zoning to move part of his existing business to a larger property. This move will also remove several vehicles from Main Street parking spaces during the workday. The adjacent properties are residential with a mix of commercial uses. The city of Safford would benefit from the expansion of a locally owned business. Staff is recommending that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend to City Council to rezone Graham County parcels 103-09-005J, 103-09-005H, and 103-09-005K from AR Agricultural Residential to C2 Highway Commercial for the following reasons. The rezone will provide for infill development. Number 2, the rezone will allow a local business to expand and remain within the city of Safford. Attached to your report, you would normally have these on the screen, but you have photos of the site. And the farm field in the back is the property. This area is the entrance off of Highway 191. Yes, Highway 191. So this is right where the highway is, and the farm field in the back is the property. This would be the entryway off of 191. With that, I will answer any questions.
How many acres is this? How many acres?
9.7 acres.
9.7. And the plans are to put it all in initially?
What was the question?
You're going to put it all in initially,
Correct.
so there won't be any farm ground left, it'll just be all for
Well,
commercial purposes? Is that
we
the
don't
plan?
plan on farming it or anything.
Yeah.
We're not gonna, we'll initially put a body shop in the area and go put storage in the area that won't take up the full 9 acres. We'll probably 3 acres initially and then expand from there.
And this in your packet, it's in the slideshow packet. It's 3 parcels, and this shows the entire area and the access off of the highway. So that's the entire area that they'll be purchasing.
Jane, Heather wants to say.
Give a short presentation.
Yes.
Yes,
please. Yes. And if you'll sit closest to that, so that Joan can do her minutes.
Good evening, members of the commission. My name is Heather Dukes. I'm a land use attorney, and I have an address of 5527 North 25th Street, Phoenix. I represent the applicant and property owner, Kip Hempton, and we are requesting a recommendation of approval to rezone, like the director said, from the agricultural zoning district to the C2 zoning district. And that is for the sole purpose that Kip wants to develop an auto body shop. He needs more space. Auto body shops are allowed in the C2 district. If you look at the packet that I handed out to you guys of slides, if you go to the second slide, it has a vicinity map. You can see where the yellow star is, that it's actually along a highway. And so typically when properties have frontage on a highway, like First Avenue or Highway 191, commercial zoning is often appropriate. And when you go to the aerial photograph on slide number 3, you can see that although the property is vacant, there's a lot of mix of different uses in this area. There's residential, there's farmland, there's commercial to the north and south. And so there is a mix already of uses that are typical of a neighborhood, of a community. So when you go then to slide number 4, this is the existing zoning map. And I want to draw your attention to the fact that along First Avenue, everything that's red is already zoned C2, commercial. So our property is outlined in yellow, and you can see it has a blue shading inside. The fill area is blue because that's right now it's agricultural residential. We want to make that area red, just like the properties to the north and to the south. And so again, there's already a lot of commercial zoning in the area. If you go to slide 5, this is the Safford general plan, and so when you rezone a property, you have to show conformance with the general plan, and I know you guys know that. The general plan is like the 10-year plan for Safford. In this area, it's designated this orange color, which is Safford neighborhoods, and one of the goals for a Safford neighborhood character area, which is where we're located, it says to provide neighborhood commercial and neighborhood-oriented service opportunities along arterial roads dispersed at regular intervals throughout this character area. And so what's more neighborly, I would say, than having an auto body shop close to your home? I mean, it's a service use, it's on a highway, it's on an arterial road. And so we would say that this request to rezone to C2 would be in conformance with the general plan in that character area. If you have any questions about the particular use, I know that KIP is still in the early planning stages. We wanted to get the rezoning done first, and then when we process any site plans, we'll make sure that we meet all parking requirements, any site planning requirements there are. So with that, I would ask for your recommendation of approval. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Is that the only entrance was right off of 191? Is that the only entrance that you'll have?
Correct.
And then on the north border, is that the one that goes along that path, that walking cycle path? Right there? On the north edge of that?
That's
Yeah.
a little further.
A little further up? I couldn't
You're
tell.
ahead of us, John.
What's that?
You're ahead of us.
I could see. Oh, okay.
I will also note that part of the highway has not been dedicated. Like, the parcel actually comes up into the Highway 191, so as part of this, I'm sure we'll work with the city of Safford to get the rest of that highway dedicated, the appropriate right of way, so.
I'm not sure. But it's to this side.
Where would the entrance be from the highway? Because there's two.
So if you look at the third slide, this aerial, you can see that there's already a driveway entrance right here, basically.
That's what it's-
So it would be maintained in that location.
And in this photo, you'll see this truck was parked sideways in it, and there's that much. It's very large, very wide.
It's a little bit more than 50 feet.
Go in here, if possible.
Yeah, this is all residential.
But, I just know this is a city road, street.
It's just a dirt road.
Yeah, so this vehicle was parked sideways when I took photos. So it's that wide. So it'd be plenty
Plenty of space.
for, and the Arizona Department of Transportation would have a say in any driveway development also.
Yeah, that's one thing, like if they wanted us to make the driveway smaller or to kind of shift it a little bit on our property so that it's, directly across from the driveway, across the highway for safety purposes, then of course we would relocate it slightly.
Like you said, ADOT would be involved in this because of 191. Yeah.
That was the presentation I had. If you'd like to close the staff presentation and open the public hearing, we may have had other people who wanted to provide comments.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
At this time, we'd like to go ahead and close the presentation and open up the public hearing. pursuant to section 1720.050, City of Sanford Municipal Code and the Arizona Revised Statutes 431.01, the Planning and Zoning Commission will conduct a public hearing for the purpose of taking public comments relating to the rezone request. So this time I'd like to open it up to the public.
My name's Terrence Ellsbury. My family and I own 40 acres adjacent to the property directly to the north. We share a portion of that northern boundary. So when we bought the property, it was zoned as, had just been rezoned. A portion of it is PUD. And then there's almost 10 acres that would frontage along the 26th Street corridor if it were to ever be extended through. And the city had asked at that time that 9.81 acre parcel remain as commercial. Obviously, we have several other small parcels along the highway there that are also highway commercial. Our concern, obviously, we're pro-business. We want to see, the local businesses thrive, but we also have a concern being in the automotive business regarding, things that might impact that residential designation. You've got residential on our side, you have residential on the other side of the canal. So, the main issues obviously would be noise abatement, control of hazardous fumes, chemicals, things that might impact, housing in the area or families or impact the possible future use of the property. So not knowing exactly what the intent is, and I know you're really in the process to where the buildings are going to be placed, those things. Obviously, that's a concern for us. Our building at 1610 South Highway 191, which is automotive related. When we came in, it is in amongst residential properties, and so we built 8-foot-high cinder block fence all the way around the property to at least help insulate the property owners around us. So what is done regarding those things along the joint property line to minimize those impacts on our property is truly what we're interested in. I know they've been cramped and confined downtown here with parking and available space for a long time. So we're certainly not averse to having them in there. We just want to make sure that everything is done properly, that we're doing the right things to minimize the impact upon the surrounding residences. There are several residences along the highway that the property abuts. So I'm sure they have the same concern. If you're going to have traffic in and out of that narrow driveway all day, I'm sure that's a concern for them. It doesn't impact us, but in general, if we're going to make this fit into a future neighborhood, we need to look ahead and make sure we're doing the right things to allow those multiple uses and minimize the impact of these commercial properties and enterprises.
May I comment? You've got the gas line that comes to the property, so at this point, it looks like we're probably going to be southwest, for sure west of the gas line. So that gas line is like 200 feet off. It runs diagonally, most of it through her property. Chemicals, great question. The paint is the big and the booths are, and then you're welcome to come and look at the booths and the paint, which we have two, and Matt will have one.
Are you using waterborne, or are you using new technology?
Yeah, we're using new technology, and the paint booths are highly regulated, and we have to make sure that nothing goes out in the environment.
Yeah.
And so that's all.
Yeah.
We stated, actually have new rules and a new regulation of the new rules that may be higher.
And
Actually,
that's
that
part
was-
of our question.
Yeah, that's a great question.
I mean, you're right along the canal, so obviously any spills, anything like that impacts.
We haven't, that to my knowledge, I don't think we ever had any problems with any type of spill
Sure.
at all. They're legitimate questions. Noise, sometimes the technician will get there at 6. They're usually done by 6 a.m., usually done by 6 p.m. And when our body shop's backed up about a month, we just don't have the capacity to manage what's going on. That's one of the reasons we want to expand the facility. We can't manage what's going on in our service department. This is growth.
Well, that's a good problem.
It's a good problem to have, but all legitimate questions. I think it's very, we can address it, and so I appreciate it.
It'd be good to, as your plans move ahead,
As expanded.
to be able to sit down and see what your intent is.
And I
That's-
think you have, I may have been old, you may still have my phone number, but anytime you call me, I'd be
Yeah.
glad to show you.
I know where to find it.
And at this point, it's going to be west of the gas line, and probably on the south side of the elevated area. We're looking to put it in that elevated area, probably 2 feet higher than it could modify as time goes on.
Sure.
So,
Well,
I'd be glad to keep you in the loop.
Obviously, as things
What's going on.
change and you build more in the future, if you're building storage or those other things, I just want to make sure we're looking ahead far enough that we're accounting for those potential issues.
You've got big piece of property, we certainly need to know what's going on. We'll keep doing it.
Well, you live right there, so, right, your house is right there. So he's got,
Where on this property is that gas line that you guys were talking about? Can you come show us? It's an El Paso natural gas line?
So it's about 200 feet off, so it's like in this area, and it runs north.
If I look as well.
Yeah, it comes like 200 feet off of the right of way, western highway line, and runs north and south.
She can come down and
All
change
the city of Safford surveys for the sewer line easement,
Right.
but the El Paso
Somewhere around here.
Yeah.
So,
I think there might be 2 lines in there, because after the first easement, they recorded a second easement that allowed the 2 lines to be parallel.
so you're talking about building in this area? yeah?
At this point,
So
we're
you just don't.
tentatively looking at this, it could modify it because of that line.
Sure.
It's less farming, this is probably
A little better land here, yeah.
because it's not having farming, so they need to go and drive back there.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Could you show them on this end?
But it could fool for, it's gonna be south of, if you draw the road in, it's gonna be south of
This is a
that
gas
area.
line?
That doesn't
El Paso natural
Sure.
gas line.
You've got-
And
you've got
they
that pipeline
actually
that
recorded
goes
7 easements, there's
diagonal.
about 5 of them.
So we're not back
All in
in
the same
body
area,
shop up
but
against the
they
house.
recorded the right to do 2 parallel lines in the same easement area. It's
Thank
like-
you very
it's only
much.
about 15
Thank you.
about 15 feet wide.
There's one there, and it goes, there's another one that runs across here, so he's thinking about building back in here. So it's gonna
Terry, if we modify
oh,
that,
this is
I'll
the
let you know.
whole property.
Yeah,
This
please,
is- this is
we
the-
want to work with you. Maybe it's beneficial for everybody.
I appreciate it.
So you enter here.
Put that 8 out.
Can I make one other comment? I noticed that in the zoning ordinance, when, how it has residential uses, the service stations, automobile and truck repair with body and fender and paint shops, they must be confined to a closed building. So that'll also help by the zoning ordinance requirement, it has to be
Yes,
in a closed
and
building.
then the paint booth, federal and state requirements.
Right, and that's, you have to dot your i's across all your t's.
Yes.
Now I get in trouble. Good.
Madam Chair?
This is residential.
But is that
Or is
people,
it Discovery?
I own the acre of property that's kind of,
That's
right
right.
next to the entrance way, I guess.
Okay, so this is down the hill.
So this is like the canal.
Well, if we have the facility up within 12 months from, assuming it's passed by the city, that would be pretty impressive. So after 12 months, So ideally 12 months, so 13 months from now,
It's all his.
come into fruition. We really haven't planned extensively because we have to get the zoning approved, spend the time doing it. So maybe 12 months before that.
Yours has the horses written behind it.
Previous, that's Morris's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, other-
Is
you
this,
take it on.
is this the property?
Madam Chair?
Your
Yes.
personal.
We were in the public comment section of the.
Six.
Okay. Do we have any other public comments?
Did we have any other, Joan?
No?
No, there was not.
Apologize. Okay, if there are no more public comments, we'll close the public hearing. Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, a motion to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Meeting is closed. So now we will move to item number 7. Rezone discussion and action by the Planning and Zoning Commission. So we'll go ahead and open this up for discussion. And I apologize for being late. I got stuck at work. Classes started at EAC today. That's where I work, and it's always a crazy day. So I should have asked to take the afternoon off. But anyway, so I apologize. Okay. I just need to get clarification on this rezone map here. The parcel that, I just need to have it pointed out to me where the
So
parcel
there are
fits here.
3 parcels, and this is the best way to show you
This is
what
three.
they will be in their
There's
entirety.
little yellow black lines.
Okay.
So this will show what they are in their entirety. It's
And-
currently 3 parcels.
And where does that fit in here?
So it's this blue area.
That's
Okay,
just a
this
little-
whole blue
Well,
area.
picture.
And so this yellow.
Okay, so this is the yellow. Okay,
yes,
gotcha.
Yes, so this shows them as 1 parcel.
And this is a.
They're currently 3 parcels, yes. And then the commercial
This is
district here
commercial.
and down here. And public facilities.
Okay.
Can I ask when that decision might be made on the zoning?
I'm sorry, can you hear you?
We'll have discussion and then we'll be voting at the end of this block. So
Oh,
We'll make
okay.
recommendations.
we'll make recommendation to the city council.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, and there was a community meeting
Yes.
and
And this slide presentation has the, all that information, and staff has not received any additional comments.
okay. So these 5, okay,
And there were adjoining neighbors that attended.
okay. And was there any other public comment that I missed, other than just
He was the only-
Ellsbury's? Okay,
Yeah, he was first.
okay.
And all we went over before you got here was my presentation that's in your packet that you already
Okay.
read.
I just, for a point of clarification, is Ellsbury's property within the, is
Are
it
you
100?
within the 300 feet?
There's
Did you receive
300
the
feet.
letter?
We did receive it.
You did?
Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I was unable to attend.
But you did receive the letters.
We did receive one. I actually have it right here.
I think it would be a good addition to the city, and I think that most of the concerns will probably be met once the actual building starts happening, and you have to talk with ADOT and everybody to get it going. But it sounds like Mr. Kempton has done a good job of making sure that those concerns will be met. So, it's looking pretty good to me.
Yeah, I feel like with most of, especially the paint booths and that type of stuff being heavily mandated and checked at a state level, that will draw the concern. And I believe you've I mean, you haven't had any other complaints at your previous business on downtown, and there was a wall built there around the southwest side of your property. How many years ago did you guys build that? It's been a minute, yeah, to help it,
And probably rolling around.
the beautification of the area down there. So I feel pretty confident that he's been a great business owner and advocate of the city of Safford for a lot of years, and I think that moving his business to a different location, I think that would just continue. So I don't have a problem with it at this point.
I would agree with what the gentleman said. I feel like it would be good for the city of Safford, and it'll also maybe alleviate some of the parking situations downtown. And I don't know what you plan to do with that area, but probably just use it for your new car sales and that type of thing.
Well, we'll probably, we're going to turn the body shop area to service. The service is all stored on the back of our used car lot. We purchased some lifts so we can go too high on our service department for traffic flow. This day and age, we're starting to get parts, we have a real problem in storage there also. We're going to, if you want, we actually have a piece of property we leased to get the cars off the road because we still have a problem with the storage.
So you can use the space.
And the body shop work takes a lot of time,
Sounds good.
so we need a lot.
There's also, you have fans and vents that set up all the fumes anyway, right?
What's that?
You have like fans that set up the fumes.
Yes, and anyone that wants to come out and look at how the paint is.
That's how period work.
Nothing that I'm aware of escapes being wise on that. It's all captured.
Right.
So, and when we get the new ones, it's going to be even more interesting.
Well, I am curious where the property is for Collins and Graham. Is that close?
Sorry, Tracy, what was that?
The property for Collins and Graham, how close is that on this parcel map? Is it,
We'll find.
are they here?
Dakota Collins.
Yeah, Dakota Collins, Kathleen Graham.
It's that funny little corner.
Yeah, it's,
Out of
I feel
field.
like the acre, the Collins have, they're my neighbor, they have, like the northeast corner of that square plot right next to each other.
My property line continues along his and Collins.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the part of the highway we want to dedicate, but their residence is right there next.
Okay. Okay, thank you. That helps. It looks like their property is already like right on the highway, which is really kind of already a very busy, dense area with traffic and activity. Okay, any other discussion or questions? Okay, do we have a motion for a recommendation? I'm supposed to make them, I've been advised.
So moved.
Okay, could someone, you have to,
I was trying to find that wording.
yeah, verbalize the
I'll make a motion, the Planning and Zoning Commission, request approval of request Z62-22 to the City Council.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to make a recommendation to approve the applicant's request. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any of those opposed? Okay, motion passes. All right, we'll now move on to item number 8, staff presentation for the rezone applicant request Z1322.
Yes, Madam Chair. Staff requests the Planning and Zoning Commission hold a public hearing on a rezone application and provide a recommendation to the City Council along with a statement of the Planning and Zoning Commission's reasons for the recommendation. And when you are making the motion, if you choose to accept staff's reasons, you may state that in your motion. It'll make it simpler for whoever makes the motion as well. We are in receipt of a rezone application from Joseph and Janet Names for Graham County parcel 102-01-008. The property was not zoned when it was annexed, and the applicants are requesting a zone of AR, agricultural residential. The property is currently undeveloped. So the same reasons for zoning and the general plan are listed there. The uses for agricultural residential that are allowed by right. And on page 3, per zoning ordinance, the applicant held their neighborhood meeting. They had a virtual meeting and allowed phone calls as the names currently reside out of state for part of the time. Responses and notes from the meeting are attached. No communication has been received by staff, and that is current as of today. I've had no phone calls. General plan compatibility can encourage and facilitate orderly growth, stabilize and improve property values, secure property from fire floods, lessen congestion in the streets. All amendments to this title shall be made in accordance with the general plan. This element, area 2.1, changes in housing demand, and element 7.1, creating livable communities, apply in this case. And ensuring a safe, diverse, and quality housing supply for all income ranges that meet the needs of existing and future population. Provide quality housing options that support a diverse population, ranging from lower density residential areas to higher density workforce areas. And this parcel is part of a larger area that was annexed into the city of Safford unzoned. The applicants have purchased the property and would like to build a residence, bar, and shop. This use is appropriate for the area. Staff is recommending that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend to the City Council to zone Graham County parcel number 102-01-008 as AR Agricultural Residential District for the following reasons. The rezoning request fits the rural location of the property, and the property is compatible with the surrounding uses in Graham County. So this is also a pocket that is within city limits that is in rural Graham County. Your site photos show across the street there is some farming area, and that the property is currently completely vacant, minus some old concrete work. And with that, I will stand for questions.
These signed letters that we received as part of the meeting, or just as part of this, are they?
Is that the neighbors that?
That's the
Yes,
neighbors that were.
that's the neighbors.
Gotcha.
There were only a few neighbors because the parcels out there are very large.
Didn't look like anybody was opposed to it.
No, sir. That's essentially the uses that are out there existing already.
Yeah, I think it's a great parcel.
And you'll see by this, normally I would have this up on the screen, it's a large parcel. This is undeveloped and vacant, this is undeveloped and vacant, and then there are farming residences to the south. The applicant is here also, if you do not have any questions for me.
Okay, would the applicant like to present? Okay, please go ahead and come on up.
Microphone?
Oh, is that a microphone?
I don't know, is that a microphone?
It's
gotta be-
recording, it's recording.
They're recording it for the record.
Yes.
Yeah, we're kind of shuffling and
It
jiving
doesn't help
tonight.
us in the room, but it is recording for the minutes.
Yeah, I don't know if you got the letter that we sent the letters out.
Okay.
So, and then this is just what we plan on doing.
Yeah, we've got that in our
Okay,
packet.
okay.
Okay.
And that house is up on a,
Yeah, it's
Up top.
up on like a ridge,
yeah.
just so we can see them all.
It's a pretty big piece. How many acres is it?
it ended up after it was surveyed like 32 and a half. Started out at 34, and by the time they get done with the survey, it ended up at 32.
I would let them survey again.
I'm a little jealous.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Director Embeck or for the applicant? Any questions?
What was the purpose for the rezoning? To
Residential agriculture, just so we can put a house and our horses on it.
oh, okay.
Because it was annexed unzoned, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
So do you plan on having multiple houses in that area?
No. Are you kidding? That's why I got a big piece of
How do you really feel?
There you go.
okay. If there are no other questions, we'll go ahead and I'm going to close the regular meeting and open the public meeting for any public comments on the request to rezone this parcel. So item number 9, I'm going to open the public hearing. Is there anybody here that would like to comment on this rezone request?
Sorry, we didn't have time to research and look up the parcels. Does one of these border Sanchez Road, is it in that corner there?
Yes, airport and Sanchez right on the corner.
In that corner.
Behind where the airport's at, except the
Did you receive a letter?
No, we're property owners further out. on
Okay, so
Sanchez
you're
Road.
not within the
So I
300.
just saw the posters.
Okay,
And I didn't get a chance to look at the parcels. What's that? Okay, I saw the sign.
okay, so there's no, and
This is
not
the
anyone
only
in the
parcel we're
public
talking about.
Yeah.
who wants to come in?
And I
Okay,
understood you just a single
Single
home
family
type.
home, just horse stalls and a shop.
okay, so no public comments. So we're gonna go ahead and close the public hearing. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion passed. All right, now we'll open item number 10, rezone discussion by the Planning and Zoning Commission for Z-5722. Does anybody have any questions or any discussion they feel needs to be added? Anything you
I
need
think
clarified?
I think that would be a great use of that property, so I'd be comfortable recommending an approval to the city council as recommended by staff.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the recommendation. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any of those who oppose? Okay, motion is passed. Okay, we'll move on to item number 11, staff presentation on a draft ordinance regarding the donation collection areas. So these are the donation boxes around the city.
Yes, Madam
Okay.
Chair. Councilman Andazova requested that staff work on this issue, and soon after that, Commissioner Patterson asked if we had any ordinances about it. So this is a presentation. This will go to council at their January 23rd meeting. So if you have any comments or suggested edits, you can make comment this evening. I'll go through it, what our current ordinance reads and what we'll be adding. And you may email me after the meeting. You don't have to answer now. It won't go until the 23rd. And that'll be for a first read and council discussion. So any input you have between now and then is fine. So the ordinance on page 1 is pretty self-explanatory. We'll go to the Exhibit A. So what is redlined is new. What is black is existing. So what we'll be adding is the definition for a charitable drop box and the definition for a donation collection area. the definition of owner and permittee, and any commercial purpose. So before it just applied to residential areas. They must have a current business license. They have to have a written agreement with the property owner. If they have a box there, they have to have the charitable drop box cleaned around the area if illegal dumping happens within 24 hours. Any donation collection area, so this is more than just the drop box, this is a bigger donation area, must be fenced and secured outside of operating hours to prevent scavenging. Section 88040, or adding an additional remedy to enforce obligations regarding charitable drop boxes under section 8.08.020. The manager or designee may elect to give notices to owners and permittees to remove material around the drop boxes as required. And then on the last page, in addition to the notice to remove, the manager or designee may elect to give notice if more than one notice is given during any calendar month. The owners and permittees' rights to install and maintain these drop boxes at the location where it had to be removed shall terminate for a 6-month period. So that is kind of the remedy that we did not have before, so that we may remove the boxes if they become a problem. So with that, I will answer any questions you have, and feel free to get input to me until the 23rd.
So this does not apply to like the churches that have donation on their own property, or
The only part that will apply to situations like that is the donation collection area. So that means a location on private property used to collect, store, and sort donated goods for reuse by others. And so on the next page after the definitions, all donation collection areas must be fenced and secured outside of operating hours to prevent scavenging.
Where is that?
That is
Which
on
page?
page 2 of Exhibit A. And it's in red. Yeah, it's second paragraph from the top. So that would apply to the churches.
That does apply to the churches, and sorry, I can't remember the other.
GCRC?
Yes, thank you. So they
Yes.
will, I think that they are currently fenced.
I think they're
aren't
currently
they?
fenced.
Okay.
But this would require anything that was created to be fenced and be able to lock it so that people can't break in.
Is this revision being sent to them beforehand so they
Yes,
would
and
have a chance?
there'll be 2 readings of the ordinance. So it's publicly noticed in the newspaper, and it will be at 2 council meetings.
Okay, so it's just publicly being noticed, you're not actually sending them their own, like, information, or are you?
No, but we could if you would like to.
Okay, I think it would be a nice courtesy.
They will be grandfathered in because they exist already, but we
Okay.
can reach out and speak to them as well.
Okay, since it does possibly affect them, I think
Yes,
it would be
and
good
they
for them
both
to
do
know.
have a fence already.
Yeah,
If you're aware of any other areas that operate this way, let me know and we can reach out.
Okay.
The women's shelter area, is it, would that be?
It would count. Do they have a collection area there?
The other safe house has boxes.
And they have Connex boxes, correct?
No, they
No,
have
those
they have receptacles, like,
Yeah, those are just refuse ones.
Yeah, so if you have a list of any properties you know of that do make these collections, I would be happy to give them a phone call or a visit.
so what about, like, food collections, like my neighbor's pantry?
They do theirs inside,
Yeah, I think they do.
so that, these are for outdoor
Okay,
donation areas.
Is there a limit on the number, total number? There's not, is there? So they could be one on every corner.
Yes, they just have to have an agreement with the property owner.
and then fence it in.
Yes. So the bins don't have to be fenced, but the donation collection areas where they're sorting, processing, that kind of thing.
Okay,
And so every donation area in town I know of, it already has a fence because they have a lot of theft. But we could still make a visit and discuss it with them.
I'd like to see the donation boxes be required to say where the donations are going to.
They do on their signs. And there's an 800 number that you can call as well.
What about cameras? Will there be cameras in all the locations?
We could discuss that with council, but we generally can't require something of that nature. They get vandalized a lot. It's very hard to maintain a camera.
So bins are not considered a charitable drop box?
Correct.
So does it discuss the bins in here?
Yes, so a charitable drop box is the container. And then the donation collection area is
Okay.
the place where they collect them, store them, sort them out, save them for people to come pick them up.
Okay, thank you. So the drop box is the bins?
Yes. So that's if you just have the container, then you don't have to fence that off. It's the storage area that would need to be fenced.
Okay. Thank you for putting that together. I think that will be a huge improvement for those drop boxes to clean them up and kind of put some responsibility on those who put them there to make sure they stay clean and they're not overflowing all the time.
Yes, and this way we can remove their, terminate their ability to have one for 6 months. So we actually have some enforcement that we can do this time. So if you have any comments, if you think of anything before the 23rd, feel free to email me. Feel
Okay.
free to reach out.
All right, thank you for that presentation. We'll move on to item number 12, election of chair and vice chair. So go ahead and open that up for discussion.
I nominate Tracy for chair.
I was gonna say, my feelings will not be hurt, so you don't have to.
Second.
That was too quick, you guys.
5 seconds.
She does a great job.
She does.
Yes.
If I can remember to be here. Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any of those who oppose? Okay, motion for chair passed, and now we do need to elect a vice chair.
I would like to nominate Lee. I think he would do a great job. He's very articulate, sharp, quick on his feet, and I think he'd do a good job.
I think he would too if he's willing to take the added burden. Was that a motion? And I'll second that, yes.
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion for a vice chair, Lee Patterson. All those in favor say aye.
Wait on that.
Yeah. I got one for another hat.
Okay, I think everyone, anyone oppose? Okay, motion passed. Thank you.
That was easier than I thought.
Okay, thank you, everybody. I think, we are volunteers, we volunteer our time, and, we really just review and make recommendations and try to listen to the concerns of the public. It's not like a glamorous job, but it needs to be done. So I want to thank everybody for volunteering their time and for showing up and giving back to the community. So thank you, all of you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 13, project updates and announcements.
Yes, so I've sent out an email with training videos where you're all able to access that.
Yes.
I have not accessed it yet, but I will.
Do you want me to resend it?
That might be a good idea. I think I looked at it on my phone.
Yeah, okay. So also, because we had new councilmen elected, the city will be providing open meetings training as well, and we'll be including your commission in that. And so I'll be providing the online training, and then we'll have in-person training with the city attorney for open meetings and procedural things about recusing yourself and how to make a motion, that type of thing. And then Joan and I will be working on a training booklet because it looks like they have lapsed in their content. So that'll be an ongoing project. So we'll get you some regular training, and we'll probably do open meetings training once per year.
Okay. Thank you, we appreciate that. Does anybody have any questions for Director Embeck? Okay, then we'll move on to item number 14. Next meeting is February 20th?
Yes, and that will be back at the library. This is the only oddball for the year.
Okay, good. All right, item number 15, does anybody have a motion?
I move we adjourn.
I second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.